Baby, 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 you got me crying in my sleep. Oh, da 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 da. Oh, oh yeah. The M50, 6 months on. I've been rocking this baby for 6 months, and here I've got it with my 70 to 200 Sigma. And it's one of the reasons why I really love this, because all the lenses that I've got, I can connect to this. And doesn't that look great? Look at that. 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 It's like a battleship. Dum 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 dum. Beautiful. The M50. I haven't actually managed to get any M lenses for it yet. And I was really thinking about, I've been thinking about whether to spend the money on M lenses because they're not actually cheap. They got some real good ones like the 22mm, which isn't that expensive. But the conundrum for me and for people who have more than one body, yeah, I've got 7D over there and what's this? 70D down there and shooting with a 6D2. And we've got a 5D2 over there. If I get an M lens, if I spend the money on an actual M lens, then I can only use it on this body, which doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I suppose that's why I've held off on getting an M lens for 6 months. Now, I really love this system, the M system. Really love this camera. It's been really good for 6 months with my little EF adapter. And I've been playing around with the different lenses. I'm going to switch up some right now just to show you what it looks like on the body. It's been great for street photography, which is what I bought it for. Oh, 70. This is the 24 to 70. Let's whack that on. This is what it looks like. This looks a bit. It looks a bit strange, odd, with such a little body and a bulky lens barrel. But it's great. I mean, I could grab it up and whack that on if I need to, and go out with my Field Marshal red ring and get some real great shots if I need be. I mean, I've only used it once or twice with this lens on because it is a bit bulky and I wanted the size. M lens. What's great about this? 6 months I've been using it, and as I said, I'm really loving it. I'm still loving it. It does what I wanted it to do. One of the things I'm really loving on it is manual focus, which is something I couldn't do before on a DSLR because of my eyes. I'm doing a lot more, I'm finding that I'm doing a lot more manual focusing. I'm switching my lenses to manual. I'm relying on the peaking. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Relying on the peaking, and in doing manual focusing, I'm finding I'm getting a lot more creative shots that, you know, because it's like you're switching back to analog. You're getting all the little variations in between, and sometimes you see something that just the camera might not think looks good, but artistically, you're getting some nice little blurs and stuff. Yeah, nice little images that the camera won't understand. So you can only get those kind of shots, you know, when you go manual. So I found that with the M50, it's enabled that manual creative zone that we lock off because we're in autofocus. So just imagine all those autofocus points that those new mirrorless cameras have. And people are finding that it makes more sense, or it's more creative. They're finding their creative juices improving when they go manual. How about that? So yeah, I'm just showing you today what I've discovered over my 6 months with the M50 and what I like and what I haven't liked so much. You see how I can just switch out different lenses. This is my 135 f2. I can just switch out different lenses on a whim on my M50, which is something I couldn't do if I had bought M lenses. You know, it's something to really consider. They're not cheap. And if I do get an M lens, I will only be able to use it on my M50. So I love the size. I don't really use it with these big lenses on, admittedly, but the possibility is there. I could use this camera for everything because it does everything. Filming, just press the dedicated film button and we're rocking and rolling. So it has been a really good buy. Switch to manual focus. It has been a real good buy. I have not regretted it one little bit. I would recommend it. It's not so good at filming in bright light. I was trying to do some little filming yesterday, you know, impromptu filming. And we had quite bright and dark shadows, and it was a struggle. I had to keep spinning my exposure comp wheel, which isn't ideal. But we got some decent shots. I can't put them up because I haven't edited it yet. All right, let's have a look. This is my street photography, one of my favorite street photography lenses, my 24. Perfect match. Look at that. Made in heaven. Dun, 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 dun. Docking complete. And it is balanced quite nicely with this little lens on. There you go. Nice little, is it focusing? Yeah, nice little balance there. And this is the one I carry around most of all, with obviously my favorite 10-18, because I see the world in wide-o vision. So this is my main lens. I walk around with these two, or it will be the Plastic Fantastic, as I've said before. It is absolutely does the business. Absolutely does the business. It's a nice little 2.8 here. The quality of this lens and the focus, it focuses quite sharp, I mean quite fast. Whereas the M lenses I've tried in the shop, they don't really inspire me. The speed of the focus is fast-ish, but I don't think it's as fast as this. So this I can put on all my bodies, all my other bodies, if I so choose. The 22 would be stuck here. So, what do you do? Should I go for an M lens, or should I stick with what I've got? You know, filming around here is the business with the flippy screen. That is just great. It does what it's supposed to do. You touch on the screen, everything's touch focus, everything's touch responsive. Look at this, I'm just doing this with one hand. And I can be filming in a matter of seconds, doing my selfies. Locks onto the face. It's a brilliant little camera, and I don't regret it one bit after 6 months. Downsides. All cameras have downsides. So what would I say is the downside of the M50? The silent shutter is brilliant. It works brilliant. But you only get silent shutter in some kind of weird automatic mode. It's very automatic. You can't change the shutter speed or the aperture or the ISO once you set it into silent. It just does its own thing, which is kind of awkward sometimes because it doesn't give you what you want, and you can only take one shot at a time, which is kind of annoying because sometimes you want to do that little burst thing and you can't do it in silent mode. And I've also found that a lot of the time when I shoot in silent, I'm actually shooting, I don't actually hold the camera up to my eye, I'm shooting at the hip or in front of me because I'm doing some kind of secret kind of surveillance thing. So might be shooting like this, yeah. And I found that it doesn't always fire. I'm not quite sure why that is. Maybe I'm moving too fast, I don't know. Sometimes I do this and I take a couple of shots, and when I look, none of them have fired. It has misfired. And that is annoying. I'm not sure what the answer to that is. The rolling shutter, if I whack something like 85mm on here, the rolling shutter is very annoying. You know, you've got to hold this thing still. In silent mode, I'm speaking about now, because it chooses its own shut speed and God knows what else it's doing. But you've got to hold this thing steady. I've got 1.885, it's not over here. It hasn't got image stabilization on it, and images come out wonky if you slightly move, and that is really annoying. Anything else? Of course, the battery life, but I'm rolling with 2 batteries these days, and that can get me through a day's worth of shooting. This is a knockoff one, which costs half the price of the Canon ones, and you know the deal with the name brand batteries. This one, I think I got it for 24. Is it 24? 24 pounds, I think this one costs, which is round about half the price of the Canon ones. And that is a bit annoying, but it is what it is. Anything else? Other than that, I think it's just been excellent. I was able to remap this AF manual focus setting right on the end there. I remapped that. Let's see if we can get it in focus. Remap that so it now does servo and manual. Servo and, was it? I can switch it between servo when I've got it on my right setting. Let me put it on manual. I'm doing a lot of shooting in manual mode now, thanks to this. Servo AF and one-shot AF. It toggles between it now because I remapped that button. All the buttons are remappable, which is just brilliant. You can just set whatever you use to one of these buttons if you don't like. I don't know if the dustbin is remappable, but the rest of them are remappable. Excellent, beautiful. It has been a perfect little camera for what I want it to do. It can do everything. It has its downsides, it has its weaknesses. I actually crashed the system yesterday because I was changing a lens while it was on. I think I was doing some filming and I must have forgot to stop the filming, and I changed the lens and it actually crashed the system and it wouldn't even switch off. So I had to take the battery out. But that's the first time that's happened in 6 months. I'm going to keep an eye on that. I don't want that happening. But other than that, M50, man, it's a great little machine. It's a great little machine. I'm still very impressed with it. This is the camera I use most out of all the cameras I have. I use this practically every single day. So well done, Canon. What would I like to see on it? Apart from the rolling shutter in the silent shooting and the ability to only shoot single instead of burst, I would like to see that. And the ability to be able to change the settings, the shutter speed and the aperture in silent, and I think it would be practically perfect for what I want it for. So yeah, M50, I still recommend it. 6 months down the line, in the light of the release of all these mirrorless cameras, it's still the one as far as I'm concerned. Grab yours and let's get taking photos or shooting videos, because that's what it's all for. When Jesus say yes, nobody can say no. Them can't say no. Them can't say no. Jesus say yes, nobody can say no. Them can't say no. Them can't say no.